all, welcome to the world of Python. Are you eager to know and learn Python, the most powerful and popular programming language? Then start with this Python programming now. Here is a quick overview of what you are going to learn today in this Python introduction. So starting with the first thing, it giving an introduction about what is Python. Then we understand about the Python history, and then we can understand about the features of Python, and then understand the application architecture and working of Python, and later on we understand about the Python constructs, and finally we can understand about the great comparison of Python with other programming languages such as Java and C++. So let's understand what is Python. Python is a general purpose object oriented programming language, which means that it can model real world entities. It is also dynamically typed because it carries out type checking at runtime. Python is widely used popular high-level interpreted programming language. Guido van Rossum initially designed Python programming language, and later it was developed by Python Software Foundation. The main motive for developing and designing Python is easier code readability and allowing programmers to express concept, design and logic in very few lines of code design with the help of white spaces during coding. Due to simplicity and better code readability, it is very easy to learn Python to anyone who is new to any programming language. So it does so make sure that the type of construct matches what we expect it to be. The distinctive feature of Python is that it is an interpreted language. The Python IDLE, that is integrated development environment, executes instructions one line at a time. This also lets us use it as a calculator. This gives basic understanding of Python programming language. Next, why do we need to learn Python? Python can be used with different platforms like Windows, Linux, Mac, Raspberry Pi and etc. The syntax of Python is very much simple like English syntax with the use of white spaces during coding. Because of this, expressing logic using Python is very easy and simple. Python allows programmers to write code in a procedural way, functional way and also an object-oriented way. Due to code simplicity, many open source libraries used nowadays in a machine learning, data science and other complex mathematics functionality are also very easily available in Python. Python relies on indentation to define the scope of loops and condition, which makes it easy to code during coding. Python can be run on an interpreter which allows programmers to run it quickly as soon as code is written. Due to this, programmers can check their logic very easily during coding. Then we move on to the history of Python. Python was conceived in the late 1980s and was named after the BBC TV show Monty Python's Flying Circus. Guido van Rossum started implementing Python at CWI in the Netherlands in December of 1989. This was a successor to the ABC programming language, which was capable of exception handling and interfacing with the Amoeba operating system. On October 16 of 2000, Python 2.0 released with many new features. Then Python 3.0 released on December 3, 2008. Why learn Python? The first question that is probably coming in your mind is, why specifically learn Python? Well, the answer to this question is quite simple. Think about the factors you would like to include in a programming language. Learnability. It is gonna be hard? No, not at all. Python is the first language of choice in many universities to learn program with Python. The Python language was designed to ease the programming with English-like syntax. It cut down all the low-level tasks and provide a high-level abstraction for you to perform any task you want. And the next point is increased productivity. After learning a programming language, what are you planning to do? Do you want to build applications, web services, exciting games, automate a repetitive task, perform complex scientific or numeric calculations, or gather insights from some data? Python has got you covered with everything. It's one of the most productive languages out there. The next point is high paying salaries. Learning Python is the best investment you can make today. Python developers are paid highest, especially in the domain of web development, machine learning, and data science. The salaries can range from $70,000 to $150,000 depending on the location and your experience in the industry. There is a lot of demand for Python developers in the IT industry, so you won't have any trouble finding Python jobs in the market. Let's understand Python features. Let us now see various features of Python that make it is so powerful and popular. First one is easy. Python is very easy to learn and understand. Any beginner can learn Python easily. When writing code in Python, you need fewer lines of code compared to languages like Java. The next point is interpreted. It is interpreted or executed line by line. This makes it easy to test and debug. And then comes to object oriented. The Python programming language supports classes of objects and hence it is object oriented. And the next point is free and open source. The language and its source code is available to the public for free. There is no need to buy a costly license. Then portable. Since Python is open source, you can run it on Windows, Mac, Linux or any other platform. Your program will work without any need to change it for every machine. Then comes to the GUI programming. So you can use it to develop a GUI, that is graphical user interface. One way to do this through Tinker. Then comes the large Python library. Python provides you with a large standard library. You can use it to implement a variety of functions without the need to reinvent the wheel every time. Just pick the code you need and continue. In the next upcoming section, we want to learn more about